Alright, here is your first lecture. So Unit 1 is going to be a study of all alchemy, matter, atomic structure, and also bonding. For this lesson, we're going to focus on what is matter. So here is a definition of chemistry, study of the composition, behavior, and transformation of substances. Modern chemistry is defined as the study of matter. So I want you to think about, what do you think matter is? Go ahead and pause for a second to think about this. Now try to think of two things that are matter and two things that do not fit into that category. So matter is anything that has substance and takes up space. In other words, it has mass and a volume. So let's apply this to some examples. Here are some examples and non-examples of matter. So I want you to think in this list which of these are matter and which are not. Again, go ahead and pause for a second. Alright, so I'm going to just circle the ones that are matter here. So things like clouds, a comet, dust, the ocean, DNA, gasoline, paper, helium, atoms, any of these things that are actually tangible. They have mass, they take up space. These are all examples of matter. Things like heat, electricity, light, those are not matter. Okay, so some properties of matter. These can fall into two categories. Extensive properties are characteristics that are specific to the amount that you have. Intensive properties do not depend on the size. So it doesn't matter how much you have, it will still have that same property. So let's look at some examples. Each of these is either intensive or extensive. I want you to pause for a second and apply those definitions here, see what you think each one might be. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and mark these. So our intensive properties, we have color, temperature, density, and also melting point. So for each one of those, it doesn't matter how much you have, it's still going to be the same. So for melting point, think about ice. It doesn't matter if you have 10 grams of ice or 100 grams of ice, the melting point is still the same. Things that do depend on the amount, though, would be the volume and also the mass. I apologize about the penmanship. Flammability. This one would be an example of intensive. Alright, so something to consider that we mentioned on the last slide is density. So this is the mass per unit of volume. The formula is shown right here, D equals M over V. Usually we will describe this in grams per milliliter. This is also a lot of times used as an indicator of certain metals. Each metal will have a different density. Alright, this practice problem I would like you to complete for homework for class to prove that you did watch this. So go ahead and read the scenario answer the question, make sure to include the explanation. The density of gold is given to you here.